Sudha ma'am, who is the founder trustee of Charlie's Animal Rescue Center, started care in the year of 2013. So let me tell you a little bit about how we started this shelter. So Sudha ma'am was a trustee in another organization, and because of some reasons the other shelter had to shut down. So she wanted to start her own shelter, because back then in 2012 there were no other animal welfare organizations to help street animals in Bangalore. So that is when she wanted to start her own shelter, and she got along with our other trustee, who is Dr. Lohit, Malika Menon, Wing Commander Lingraj, Megha, Rupesh. So they all sat down and they were kind of trying to come up with different names for the shelter. So that is when they all realized, the reason why we've all come together is because of Charlie. So Charlie is the hero of our story. So, Charlie was sitting in between them and he was looking at their face, and, he's just, staring at everybody. And that is when they all realized, we all came together because of him, and, we will name it after Charlie. So the reason why they wanted to do that is because Charlie was a canine therapy dog, and, he was the inspiration for all our trustees to come together. And he's done a lot of amazing things in the animal assisted therapy, and that is why it was named after him. So what we do here is we treat injured, infected street animals like cats, dogs, pigs, chickens, ducks, goats, and a lot of other animals. So canine therapy is basically, we take, now after Charlie passed away, we have Stumpy, who's a therapy dog. So we take her to, any of our schools where they have, kids with autism. So Stumpy is very, very good with kids. So what happens is, when these kids with autism, when they interact with dogs, their problem-solving ability and, their ability to learn new words is a lot higher. The reason being is, dogs don't judge people, right? So the kids are very comfortable to do mistakes and learn from it. So when they're talking to a dog, they're a lot more comfortable than talking to a person. So that is why their learning ability becomes a lot faster when they interact with dogs. So right now we are on a half an acre rented land. The thing is, we want a lot of support from government. If we have more space, when we have more space, we have the bandwidth to expand and take in more street animals. But right now, we've been asking the government to allot land for us, and unfortunately that hasn't been happening till now. And the thing is, when we are pushed far more away from the city, again the transportation becomes very difficult. And we also face a lot of problems from the localites because of the sound, the smell. So we try to tell them how we work and why we are doing this. A lot of times they do understand, and a lot of times they don't understand. So we try to bridge that gap by communicating. We'll bring them in, we show them the kind of animals that we deal with. So when they see their condition, when they see the condition of all these animals, sometimes people do understand. Max had the habit of climbing up on his balcony paraplush, and he would be walking on the paraplush. And there was this day where, when he was climbing up, he accidentally slipped and fell from third floor. And the owner went running and he directly fell into a gutter. So when she tried picking him up, he bit her, because obviously he was in a lot of pain. And the poor fellow, when he fell, he broke his spinal cord. So the owner took him to a hospital, got a surgery done, a spinal fixation, which is quite expensive. And Max was still biting people, and the owner thought, okay, maybe he doesn't like me anymore because he fell from the house, so he doesn't like me anymore. So she wanted to give him away to somebody, and he couldn't walk at that time, and his wound was pretty fresh, so he needed that post-operative care. But the owner decided to give up on him. So she drove down to our shelter, and looking at his condition, we had to take him in. And after 1 week of spending time with him, we found out that Max was never aggressive. It was this day where we had this young couple who wanted to give away their 10-year-old golden retriever. So we asked them what is the reason, and they told us, we are moving to Bangalore So I don't think we could be able to, take him there. But we tried telling them that, he's been with you from the past 10 years and he's going to be there for another 3-4 years. So he needs his family. And after a point of time, they seemed like they were convinced and they said, you know what, okay, we understand what you're trying to tell us. So we will figure out something and we will take him to Bangalore. And I was on my way for a rescue. And just 150 meters from the shelter, we had to take a left. As soon as I took the left, I could see Gopi sitting on the main road. So, it was very heartbreaking because, we spent almost 1 hour convincing this family. And, we didn't understand because Gopi was a very sweet dog. And we had no idea why they had to abandon him like that on the busy main road. Maybe if we had gone a little later, he might have been run over by a lorry. So we stopped our car, we opened the door and we called him in. This fellow just happily got into the car and he sat. So we drove him to the shelter and we named him Gopi. We don't even know what his name is. So we wanted to give him an Indian name, so that's why we called him Gopi.
I'm Hrishika and I'm a senior volunteer here at CARE. And I've been associated with CARE for close to 5 years now, but I've been volunteering myself at CARE for about 3.5 years now. And what got me to the place, honestly, it was just the fact that I moved very close, and my sister used to volunteer here before I actually started. And she moved and then I started coming in about 3.5 years ago. And I've been here every weekend ever since. Like you said, the work-life balance, but I think this has become a part of my routine today, and it's just as important as work is for me on every week. It's a great stress buster, if anything. After having a long week, the Saturdays and Sundays at the shelter really help me relax. So yeah, that's why I've been pretty regular at CARE for almost 3 years now.
We get a lot of different, kind of cases on our helpline number, which basically starts with a small scratch on a dog's leg or the body. And, there have been cases where people deliberately pour hot oil or acid water on top of these dogs. And we've had dogs who have met with train accident, car accident, bike accidents, and people who want to deliberately push these dogs from their terrace in order to, kill them. And we've had a dog which was tied to an electric pole. So the head was tied to one pole and the body was tied to another pole, where they wanted the dog to die in such a condition where the dog can't put his head down, because this was like a dump yard where he could eat garbage, but they made sure that this dog can't look down. And the rope that was tied around his neck had gone through his skin. So you can imagine, I think this might have happened for almost 10-15 days, but nobody even bothered to report it to us. When I went to the spot, I was kind of speechless, because that is not something that you do see on a day-to-day basis, right? So we didn't know what to do, and we were actually very worried in order how to get him out, because even if we pull, so that is going to pain, and that pain is going to be really bad, and we can't pull from his back. So we had to kind of come up with a different strategy. And when we got him into the vehicle and brought him to the shelter, as soon as I got him out of the vehicle, even the vets couldn't speak. They were in a very they were very astonished to see this dog's condition. So this is what people do to these animals. We face a lot of challenges. The first challenge is money, obviously, because you need a lot of funding. Because what happens is, because these are street animals, when somebody rescues them, they can't afford for the treatment, because sometimes the treatment can be around 3,000, and sometimes it might go up to almost 100,000, and sometimes more than that. So people really can't afford for this treatment. But what we try to do here is, we have a lot of really good corporates who help us with our these kinds of works. So we, with the help of the corporates, we try to make a difference by by not asking people for these donations, and wherein we can get it through these corporates. And the other problems that we face are again, people sometimes are not that friendly. The reason being is, we understand that they are agitated, But what happens is sometimes we say that we don't have space. The reason being is we don't have space in the shelter. So we have 130 housing capacity, but sometimes we end up housing more than that, say 160 to 170. And apart from this, we can't take in any more animals, which becomes very difficult. And when we tell people that we don't have space, they get really angry and they start shouting at our helpline staff. So whenever people find a injured animal, they call up our helpline number. So we have two helpline numbers where people can reach out at 9 to 5 and report the cases to us, and we will send our vehicle to pick up these street animals which are injured and infected.